So hello everyone to Excel in Access. Welcome. Today we're going to be learning about VLOOKUPs. So anyways, this is Excel in Access. It's the place you want to be if you want to learn Excel from the beginner level to intermediate to advanced. If you haven't yet, check out my earlier videos, especially if you're a beginner and you're really new to Excel. First couple of videos are beginner level type of video. Well, the first one is the beginner level, and it helps you work your way through different parts and aspects of Excel. So today, right now, we're going to learn about VLOOKUPs. So what are VLOOKUPs? VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup searches for values in the left column and returns the value in the same row, and is based on the index number. So that's just kind of the technical term for VLOOKUP, but a more simple term for VLOOKUP, or more simple, I guess you can say, way to describe it is, for example, whenever you're looking up a name in a phone book, you're performing a real VLOOKUP action. You look up the name of your recipient on the first most left column, and when you find it, you achieve the phone number. So that's pretty much an example or a simple term of what a VLOOKUP is. So when to use it, I usually use it when I have large forms of data and I need to pull information into that particular spreadsheet, but that information is in another spreadsheet. So the easiest thing to do is just to be a VLOOKUP and pull that info in. So let's start and do a quick VLOOKUP. All right, so here is my data. Really quick, there are 4 important rules when it comes to VLOOKUP that you must remember, or you're going to have issues. The left column must contain the values that are being referenced. So whatever values that you're being referenced must be in the left column. All data that you're going to reference, the index must be in ascending order. So you need to filter it in ascending order, and you can do that right here. Sort A to Z. You must store numbers as text, and text character lengths must be the same. So pretty much, if you're storing the numbers as text, you have to store the numbers as text and the other data that you're bringing it for. Otherwise, everything must be in numbers. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So here, I want to bring in the description, and that description information is here on this data, and it has my item number and description. Right here, all I have is just the item number. So I want to pull in description. So I'm going to insert a column to pull the description in. All right, here's my description column. And I'm going to do a simple VLOOKUP to pull that information in. So I would hit the equal sign. And the VLOOKUP is already in my functions dialog box. This is a function dialog box. And because I use it a lot, these are the most common functions that I use, so it's already going to be up there. If it's not up there, the way you would find the VLOOKUP category is just to go to formulas and go to insert function, and if it's not already here in the list, just type it up here and it should bring it up, and hit go. But it's already in my box, so I'm just going to click on it, and it brings up my functions arguments dialog box. So the lookup value is the index value, and it is the value that I want to search in my in the sheet that I'm going to pull the information from, spreadsheet. So I'm going to click on that. So that's the value I'm looking for. So the next thing I want to do is the table array is the table. Where are you pulling the information from? What spreadsheet? So here. So I'm going to highlight this table. So I want to pull information. So I want to look here, and anything that's here, if it matches this, then I want you to pull that information into my spreadsheet. Now, column index, all column index is saying is in which column are you trying to pull the information. And since I want the description, I'm trying to pull the information from column 2. So here I would type in. Okay, we're back. The screen cut off for a second, but this is where we left off. So the column index is 2. It's just telling me which column I want to pull the information from. Now the last field is called a range lookup. And range lookup is pretty much, it tells you right here. True pretty much means it's going to look for a match that's close enough to my index, and false is going to look for exact match. And I want exact match. I rarely ever use true, I always want false. I want an exact match. So I'm going to type in false. Hit OK. And there is the description information that I want. And I'm just going to double click on the little box there so to populate the information all through my column. And there it is. So that's pretty much a simple way to do VLOOKUP. And that's pretty much all there is to it, VLOOKUP. But you know what? Sometimes it's not always that easy, especially when you're given sums of large data from one database or from someone else that pulls it from one database, and then you have data from another database that you need to pull in. So then you can get complicated because when you're pulling from different databases and different data sources, your characters, your fonts, everything doesn't always be the same. The order of the data is not always the same. So you have to do some modifications sometimes beforehand. And even when you do modification, you still may get error trying to do a simple VLOOKUP. So let's look at a VLOOKUP that is not that simple. And I'm just going to give simple solutions of what I usually do to figure out why my VLOOKUP is not working and what I can do to get the VLOOKUP working. So here's our data again. And again, I want to pull the description. So I'm going to insert a column. Let's insert a column and call it description. And so I'm going to, let me put this here. So column is description. And so I want to pull that information from here. Do my simple VLOOKUP equal VLOOKUP index table array. This table is where I want to pull the info from. I'm going to pull it from column 2 and false, because I want exact data. And I get an error. And when you have tons and tons of data and you work with multiple spreadsheets, this can be such a nightmare to work with. But there are a few solutions that I usually do, or functions, to try to figure out, okay, why isn't my data working? The first one I always try to do is just to make sure the length are the same. One of the rules I have is the text character length must be the same or it's not going to work. So I create myself a solution table, and then I test and make sure that at least the character lengths are the same, and I use a function called len, and len returns the number of characters in the text. So it pretty much tells you exactly how many characters are in that text. So this is an index field, so I want to know exactly how many characters are in that one and check it for my other spreadsheet as well. So it's 5, and I'm just gonna run through and check a few characters, figure out, and they all seem to be 5. So I need to check this data sheet as well and just find out what the character lengths are. So this says it's 5, so I check a few, and it seems like 5, they have the same character length, so it's not a character length issue. So I'm just going to delete that. So it's not a character length issue. So the next thing I'm going to check, everything seems to be in ascending order. If it's not, you need to highlight your spreadsheet and go here, filter, and sort by ascending order. Okay? Mine is fine. So that's not what it is. The next thing I want to look at is, are the characters the same? So I'm going to test a formula. It's called a comparison formula. I call it a comparison formula. And it tests to see whether this field is equal to this field. So it's the same item, same number, and it's not. That automatically tells me that I have a I guess you can say a formatting cell field. So this is showing me number and this isn't. Now anytime you have a cell data that has the little green arrow, it's good to check it to see what it is. If both of your data, if your data in this spreadsheet is showing the green arrow as well as this, then you're fine. but if it's not, then you have a character issue. So that right there is always a red flag. And I caught that immediately, but I just kind of wanted to go through some of the solutions you can go through to figure out what's wrong with your VLOOKUPs and why they're not matching. So this is telling me that there's an issue, that this is a numbers, but they're stored as text. Or I can ignore the error. I can get help on the error if I wanted to. But I want to convert it all. So I'm just going to highlight the entire column. And I'm going to go right back to this error box. And I'm going to convert it to number. Let's go ahead and convert to number. It should be that way in the first place. So I want to convert. It's converted. So it's all number. Even the numbers that appear as text. It's all numbers. So I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet, and there you have it. My NA error is now my description box. Let's pull the information. So the issue was the fact that this was stored as a number and the other text was stored as text and not number. So when I converted this to number, the VLOOKUP worked and my little comparison function turned to true. So those are just quick and good, easy solutions that if your VLOOKUP is not working, especially if you have large amount of data and you've got to get the information in quickly and you're working in a short time frame, and you can't figure out why your VLOOKUP is not working, those are some solutions you can always try and use. Now, if you have any questions or comments, please list them below. If you have any questions of something that you're stuck on, leave a comment. I'll be happy to help. And again, don't forget to subscribe for more videos and for some more tips and for more tutorials. Thank you for watching. Till next time. Bye-bye.